Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Braden, Tim, Second Legacy. You are amazing, and today we have an update on the outbreak. This is something incredibly important. Zombie knives. They're back. You thought we were kidding when we covered this last year. Nope, this is a real thing, and there's more coming out, and now they've recruited very influential stars to really express the dangers of zombie knives, and Tim and I are here to spread the concern about the contagion, of course. So if you enjoy this content, you like that freedom, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. This is Second Legacy. We have entertaining with sarcasm and all sorts of humor and two-way facts. Let's get it, Tim. Zombie knives. Oh,
zombie knives.
Oh, yeah. God, dude.
Do they get the cool paint jobs like we went through when we were doing the zombie thing here? When we had zombie red dot sights, we had zombie ammunition, we had zombie guns. They don't get the cool paint job?
No. We've devolved from that because originally that was the thing. All sorts of neon green. It was incredible. I felt safer. But now we've just devolved. It's so bad that zombie knives are now anything with a point to them. So knives have to be blunted or there's zombie knives. So it's a distinction. It's really important. You guys are probably going to see some correlations to a different argument here in the United States. Oh yeah, that's the 2A one. Let's get into this though, Tim, because if you
zombie
recall,
knives.
Yes.
Well, I just want to talk about the phrasing.
Yes,
right?
Go for it.
Zombie knife. So the banners, regardless if they're gun banners or in this case knife banners, they always want to come up with these creative names that instill fear in people. It's like
ghost guns.
Ghost guns.
Ghost guns.
Zombie knives.
Yeah.
Alien anal probes. It's just like
that
they
took
just
a turn.
go down. It's just anything they can think of that's scary, they want to name it that, you know. And
Well, I'll tell you,
zombie knives.
alien anal probe scares me. Mission accomplished. Let's ban those.
Absolutely, because who wants to wake up frozen in bed, unable to move, and then have an alien do that to you? So anyway.
This took a turn.
Back to knives. Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, the original zombie knife included a certain blade length and it had to have like serrations or something on it that made it super scary looking.
Yep. Can't have serrations, can't have colors, and can't be beyond like 6 inches or a 5-inch blade. Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it was very, very scary.
But they've amended
that.
It's important. They've amended that definition.
They're adding stuff now. And that's what's important because now we're going to start to see some correlations. So, Dr. Slides, what we have here for the viewing pleasure is something from the BBC. So, obviously, this is from across the pond. Could you just play the star that they picked here? This is Idris Elba, and he's talking about the zombie knife crisis. And,
So the truth is that kitchen knives are perhaps 25% of the knives used in most of the terrible crimes. That's one of the stats in the films. And those kitchen knives are usually a domestic situation. Okay. So kitchen knives, of course, it's very difficult. They're a domestic knife. I do think there is areas of innovation that we can do with kitchen knives. I hate to say it, not all kitchen knives need to have a point on them. That sounds like a crazy thing to say, but actually it would reduce. You know, you can still cut your food without the point on the knife, which is an innovative way to sort of look at it.
Maybe they need to give this guy like a basic edge weapon fighting class because, you know, you might not be able to poke your significant other, but you can certainly slash
but you can
them.
still slash them. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, how dare you cook my dinner, woman? Point, point, point. Ah, you know, it's like,
what am I going to do now? I can't express my frustration with a bladed weapon. Yes.
What was that Steve Martin movie where they were playing grifters and he had the fork with the cork on it and he had an eye patch and he kept going like that, stabbing himself in the eye. It's like, maybe we just need to put corks on the end of the blade. We don't need to take the tip off, folks. And just the tip only. We just need to put a cork on it.
Wow.
We're in it.
Wow.
Anyway.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's okay.
Oh my God.
So
these people.
That was good. No, it was amazing. It was amazing. So what I'm really loving here, Tim, it's that innovation, right? You know, because the innovation needed to stop the criminals and the crime and the violence is definitely blunting the kitchen table knives. And you know something that I'd also like to draw very important attention to, Tim?
What's that?
The language style and delivery sounds very familiar.
It does.
To here in the United States. Like, for example, let's just off the top of my head, let's just go down this. Maybe, you know, ghost guns accommodate about 4% of the guns that have been captured in crimes, and it's a growing threat in the United States. We need to ban them. You know, extended magazine capacities allow for even more carnage, and it accommodates around 8% of all the mass shootings in the United States. You see how they use these statistics to move you into a certain direction, even on something as stupid as knife crime, which undermines the entire point of gun control, because, oh my God, do we need to say it? They have gun control in UK.
Yeah.
Now, like knife control now. God, it's the same playbook, dude. Exact same playbook.
And look, folks, he's trying to justify the blunting of kitchen utensils because of presumable, like domestic violence, right? Because
safety.
Nobody has ever poisoned anybody in the home. Nobody's ever beaten anybody with a blunt object like a baseball bat or a golf club. None of that ever happens. It's just the kitchen utensils, folks.
The point is,
if we blunt those tips, then half of the deaths could be avoided because the other half of those people won't realize that the sharp edge can actually slash.
Exactly.
And then when they do figure that out, then we'll just blunt that edge too and just rip your bread apart, peasant. You don't need to cut it. Who needs nice, clean slices of bread?
I mean, who needs that? But you know what? I'm actually concerned, Tim, and I'm going to start a public service announcement campaign. What about the choking hazards that are going to come from no knife cutting instruments? Because if you're just jamming meat down your throat, you could choke.
That could be taken the wrong way.
Ignore that. Ignore that one. Yeah.
First of all, don't jam meat down your throat. That's a good way to avoid that. But if you do find yourself jamming meat down your throat, cut your meat before you chew it. And do chew your meat completely. Yeah. It's important that you handle the meat properly because you can get salmonella, staph, all sorts of nasty diseases when you don't properly stab your steak. Yes. So this is absolute lunacy. And he did call this out. He realized what he was saying was a bit nuts. He even said, it may sound crazy, but we just really don't need pointed knives. How about pointed sticks? I mean, the Brits, didn't they make a movie famously about pointed sticks?
Can't have sticks.
Yeah, Monty Python. For those of you that are that old enough to, So it's
how about you?
Fête de moche. Your father was a hamster and your mother smelt of elderberries. Yes, and speaking of that, the Brits are the same people that just arrested a woman for farting on video, folks.
They did. That's true. That's breaking news. You cannot. We didn't know it, but now we do. You cannot send photos or videos of you farting to your current boyfriend's ex because you will go to jail.
Yeah, and if you do it with a pointed knife or a pointed object, yeah, that's life in prison. So this is what freedom looks like to the UK and in Europe, folks. This is kind of like what American liberals want to do to us. We want to protect. We want to protect your freedoms by taking those away from you.
Well,
so
absolutely.
The only way you can live free, people, is if we don't trust you with those freedoms. But then you'll be free of the freedoms. And
you'll be free of the freedoms, and you'll be so safe, and you'll have no freedoms, but you won't have the bad freedoms. And bad things won't happen to you because of freedom, because you're so free.
Yeah. And bad things happen because of freedom. Yeah,
it's so simple. It's obvious. So now, God, this is an amazing episode. I'm just loving it.
All over the map on this one.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. Just all right. So as we continue on this, I would like to draw another correlation, Tim, because something else that he said that I thought was so fascinating. It sounds familiar too. The domestic violence crisis. Whoa, wait a minute. That sounds like the boyfriend loophole. That's not. Oh my goodness, that's almost word for word what they do here with the gun control, but they also do it with knives. Wow. Is there a correlation between the party and the group and political affiliation that wants to ban guns here and the political group and affiliation that controls UK?
I think so.
Maybe I'm stabbing in the dark with a blunted pointed object.
Yeah.
Well, don't do that. Let's continue. Don't do that.
Slash in the dark. Don't stab. Stabbing's
absolutely
bad. Slashing's okay.
Let's go back to Idris Elba.
In Crisis, I'm sorry, but let's look at that. But the truth is, all knives, the loophole on the heritage knives allows the sale of zombie ninja swords to be sold. So while, you've got your granddad's sword on there and you want that, that's fine, of course, but it is leaving a loophole for someone to carry a ninja sword. So let's ban them all. And if you have one of those knives, get a license for it. Simple as that. And I think it's a small contribution to society.
Okay, dude, I lost it at Zombie Ninja Sword. Do those come with the little toad boots too? So you have the zombie toad boots, ninja zombie boots. It's and you can stick on walls and hang out above your significant other and stab them when they go for a loaf of bread. Wow. He didn't bring up throwing stars or Psy or any of the other tools of the trade for ninjas, zombie ninjas.
Thank God. I mean, thank God. like the Ninja Turtles would be out of business. Dude.
I mean, between the powdered wigs and the red coats and this commentary, how can you take the Brits seriously at this point?
Oh, man. Watch out for... But, dude, like, again, this is the same. Watch out for the... Dude, you almost can't say it with a straight face. Watch out for the ninja sword loophole. Because, you can be walking around with a ninja sword because it's a grandfathered in loophole. I'm like, are you guys all saying the same words?
What did he call the just regular non-zombie knives? Heritage knives?
Dude, go, you know what? It's worth it. Let's do a Yui. Dr. Slides, halfway back. Let's go.
All knives. The loophole on the heritage knives allows the sale of zombie ninja swords to be sold. So while, you've got your grand...
Dude, the grandfathered in heritage knives. Guys, are you seeing the similar patterns?
Dude, it's like
weapons, ninja knives.
It's just every buzzword they could. There we go. There we go. Those dastardly green-handled zombie ninja knives. There's a ninja sword that's green. Oh no!
My God, that's a ninja sword to the zombie second power. That's the worst.
Guys, and we're laughing about this, but it's not funny. The people of Britain, there are freedom-loving people there that are just appalled by all this nonsense. This is how far the left is willing to go with things. I mean, the absolute lunacy of that video. He doesn't even realize. I mean, he did, I guess, to a degree, realize he sounded like a complete moron. But he's pushing a narrative that's obviously handed to him as a script. He's an actor, and he's just going with it. And I think he's embellishing a bit, too. I mean, he went from heritage knives straight into zombie ninja tools. But that's what they want to do here. And they want to do this globally. And this is just absolute insanity. You just can't make this stuff up. And look, I've seen people from the UK post, if they go to IKEA and buy a new cutlery set for their kitchen, they have to immediately put it in the trunk, can't be within reach of the driver, and they have to drive it straight home. If they stop for gas, they run the risk of being arrested. So I'm told. Yep. I don't know. This is just stuff I see people posting about the lunacy of the UK gun laws and knife laws and zombie laws and whatever laws they got, farting laws, just laws for everybody, laws for you.
For the farting laws, I'll get you.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump into the actual article a little bit because there's some things that he didn't say here. Again, we're drawing the correlation here. Yes, it's funny. Yes, it's insane. Yes, I did not see the ninja blades coming. That surprised me.
I don't think he did.
I hadn't watched that whole video yet, but now that we did, that was great. There's some other similarities to everything that they just said, from focusing on the domestic violence abuse and the boyfriend loopholes and the heritage knives, which would be grandfathered in guns, and the assault weapon, like all the buzzwords, scary words, right? Here's another thing that's very similar. Right down there, right below, it says the quoting right about midway, Dr. Slides, a total of 507 children were treated in English hospitals for knife injuries in the 12 months to April 2024, according to the latest figures by the Youth Endowment Fund. I've got 3 kids, says Elba. Hold on. As a parent, that always is going through your mind. Dude, that is the exact same propaganda they do to parents here in the United States. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Please go.
No, I'm just thinking about, as a kid growing up, I cut myself all the time with my pocket knife. And that's what they're talking about here. Kids showing up to the ER for stitches because they cut themselves, not because they were attacking each other on the playground with zombie ninja swords. They just cut themselves playing with something that was sharp. And so they're twisting that and turning it into some statistic that they can then justify taking away the kitchen utensils with. I mean, this is the absolute absurdity of the left, folks. This is what they do when they're allowed to run amok. And they'll just get crazier. It's like they feed off their own crazy. It's like one leftist tries to out crazy the other leftist. And then we wind up with the last 4 years of absolute insanity.
Yeah, bro, that's a very good way to surmise that. Now, the other thing here, and when you're looking at all of this language, it's all the same language. And that's why we're covering this, guys. It's all the same language on the gun control side. It's exactly the same. The topic is just different. The propaganda, the emotional appeals, the verbiage, the silliness, the stupidity, all the citing of sources. It's all the same propaganda framing. All right. That's the important thing you have to understand. It's not just about taking guns. This is about complete and total control by a leftist regime of different extremes in different countries. All right. Now, watch this. Elba says that while the ban on zombie knives implemented last September was a massive step in the right direction, the country's still in a crisis. That is verbatim what Chris Murphy said when they passed the Senate Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Verbatim.
Yep. We passed the most comprehensive knife control in UK history, folks, but we got a long ways to go. It didn't bring the accidental cutting instances of children playing with sharp objects in fields and in barns around the UK down at all. We just got to get one more law passed. It's just a series of laws. It was never intended to be one law, one and done. No, we just have, every year we got to pass new legislation to further restrict your ability to hurt yourself with something that might be sharp or pointed in this case. We haven't gotten to the sharp section yet.
Not pointed for long.
I wonder how many of these kids stabbed themselves or cut themselves, because there is a distinction here, because right now they're just concerned with just the tip. They're not worried about the shaft of the knife. They're just worried about the tip.
Aren't we all? I mean, aren't we all?
Yeah.
I would,
anyway.
before you wrap this up, I would like to give ourselves props, because we just went through a whole lot of innuendo very fast and neither one of us broke. So oh, nope. Hat tip to both of us. Take us out.
All right. Folks, don't fall into the trap of, wanting to ban pointy things. We need our points. We need our tips. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.